In the heart of Anyalai, a vibrant African village cradled by swaying palms and whispering rivers, lived a young woman named Amara. She was the kind of beauty that turned heads at markets, weddings, and festivals. Skin like smooth mahogany, eyes dark and glimmering like wet stones, and laughter that could quiet storms. But behind her charming smile lurked a restlessness, a hunger for a life beyond woven baskets and borrowed futures. Amara longed for freedom. She craved the glittering lights of the city, silk dresses, and the attention that came with being someone important. When Chief Obeisai, a wealthy trader with skin as pale as shea butter and a hunger for a male heir, laid eyes on her, it felt like fate. He promised her gold, land, and a life where her name would be sung in praise songs, if she could give him a son. Within months, Amara was heavy with child, draped in fine wrappers and fat with village envy. But when the day came, under a blood-red sunset and the distant drumbeat of a neighboring festival, the cries that filled the small hut belonged to a baby girl. A delicate thing with almond eyes and a voice that seemed to hum with ancient wisdom. Chief Obeisai's face turned to stone when he saw the child. His voice, once sweet as honey, curdled like sour milk. "A girl," he spat, disgust lining every syllable. The riches, the promises, the future, gone in an instant. Amara, terrified of losing everything, made a decision that would haunt the rivers and her soul forever. That night, under the cloak of darkness, she carried the swaddled infant to the banks of the Ndali River. The waters shimmered under the pale light of a crescent moon, moving like a living thing. Her heart pounded, a war between fear and ambition. Without a final kiss, without a whispered name, she let the bundle slip into the cold, hungry water. The river swallowed the child without a sound. Amara returned home, her face painted with lies. She told the village of a stillbirth. Pity came, then forgetfulness. And soon life resumed its steady pace. She married a young builder, Chaik, whose kindness she barely noticed at first, too busy mourning the life she lost. Not the child, but the wealth, the status. Years passed like dry leaves in harmattan winds. Amara grew older, softer, though shadows lingered in her eyes. She built a home with Chaik, whose steady hands crafted beauty from stone and wood. They remained childless, a silent ache that weighed on their marriage. But fate, like the river, is never still. It moves in quiet currents, carrying secrets to unexpected shores. And one day, that river would bring back what it once took. 15 years later, Anyalai had changed, yet remained achingly familiar. The once dusty paths were now lined with painted shops and plastic chairs outside new taverns. Yet the Ndali River still flowed, ancient and untamed, carrying memories and whispers only the waters could understand. Amara, now a woman with lines etched by time and quiet regrets, lived a quieter life. Her husband, Chaik, had built them a modest but beautiful home near the market square. Still, the emptiness of a child's laughter haunted the walls of their house. Every blessing ceremony, every village naming day, felt like a needle slipping beneath her skin. One bright market morning, as the sun poured gold onto the earth, a young girl arrived in Anyalai. Her name was Adiz, a name that meant daughter of the king, though no one knew where she came from. She had a quiet grace, with deep, searching eyes that unsettled the villagers. There was something about her, something that seemed older than her years. She was taken in by Mama Igioma, a kind-hearted widow who sold herbs by the riverside. Adiz helped her gather leaves, pound roots, and sell remedies in the bustling market. Word of her quick mind and healing hands spread swiftly. It was during one of those market days that Amara first laid eyes on the girl. A strange coldness gripped her chest. The child's face, those almond eyes, so familiar it made her stomach twist. She couldn't look away. The dreams began soon after. Night after night, Amara found herself by the river, watching as a swaddled infant floated on dark waters, her cries mingling with the wind. A voice, low and ancient, called out, "Blood calls to blood." Fear gnawed at her. She tried to stay away, but fate wove their paths tighter. Adiz appeared at her doorstep one evening with a basket of herbs. Chaik had fallen ill, and Mama Igioma had sent her with medicine. Their hands touched, warm skin on cold fingers, and a jolt ran through Amara like lightning through dry branches. "Your face," Adiz whispered, her voice barely above a breath. I know you." Amara's world tilted. She tried to speak, but guilt sealed her throat. Chaik's condition worsened. The sickness was strange, a creeping weakness that no one could name. Desperation drove Amara to seek Adiz's help again. The girl came, offering mixtures of bitter roots and sacred leaves. Over long nights by Chaik's bedside, Adiz spoke of dreams she had, of water, darkness, and a woman with eyes like her own. The truth rose like a storm cloud. Amara knew. The girl the river had claimed had not perished. Fate, in its cruel and wondrous way, had delivered her back. Her daughter was here, and she might be the only one who could save them all. The weight of the truth pressed heavily on Amara's chest, a burden too long buried beneath years of silence. Each time Adiz sat by Chaik's bedside, the girl's gentle hands wiping sweat from his brow, it felt as though 1,000 unspoken words clung to the air between them. The girl who should have been gone, lost to the river's hunger, was here, alive, beautiful, and unknowingly bound to the woman who had betrayed her. One stormy evening, as thunder rumbled in the distance and the river swelled with rain, Amara could no longer bear the torment. She found Adiz sitting by the flickering light of a clay lamp, grinding herbs. "I need to speak with you," Amara said, her voice shaking like brittle leaves in the wind. Adiz looked up, her dark eyes reflecting the firelight. "Yes, Mama Amara." Those words, "Mama," sliced through her heart. I wronged you," Amara began, tears blurring her vision. "Many years ago, when I was young and foolish, I let fear and pride turn me into something monstrous." Adiz's hands stilled, the pestle falling silent. You were my child, Adiz. I gave birth to you under the blood moon. I cast you into the river." The words came out in a rush, jagged and raw. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. Only the rain drumming against the roof filled the space between them. I thought you died," Amara choked. "But the river kept you. It gave you another life." Adiz's face was unreadable, but her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Slowly she stood and approached Amara, the room heavy with history, grief, and trembling hope. "You are my mother," she whispered, voice steady but soft. "And yet, the river saved me when you did not." Amara fell to her knees, sobbing. "I beg your forgiveness, my child. Not for me, for Chaik. He is a good man who loves me, and he is dying. Only you can help us now." For a long moment Adiz said nothing. Then she knelt before Amara, cupping her mother's tear-streaked face in her hands. "I was meant to return," she said quietly. "The river told me. Blood must find blood. Love must be born from forgiveness." Together they worked through the night. Adiz brewed ancient potions, whispered prayers she had learned by the riverbanks, and placed sacred leaves upon Chaik's chest. As dawn broke, the first light touching the wet earth, Chaik's eyes fluttered open, color slowly returning to his cheeks. Amara's heart swelled with gratitude. She grasped Adiz's hand. "You saved him, you saved us." The pain between them did not vanish, but something new blossomed, a fragile, blooming hope. In time, stories of the river girl and her mother's redemption spread through Annuli. And beneath the old palms, Adiz found not just a home but love. A young farmer named Obi, smitten by her strength and spirit, soon became her closest companion. Together they built a life near the river, where forgiveness and love could finally flow free. And so peace returned,